Hi everyone, it's Vicky. So it's been a while since I did a video and I've just been wondering what to do and what is going to be interesting. I don't want to do the same things that I do over and over again, but I actually do feel like I've run out of a bit of inspiration. And then Nick the booksmith, I'll put a link below, she has posted a, let me move some of these out the way. She has posted a challenge on Facebook, or no, on YouTube, to make a bookshelf. And oh, that's so fun. I love making miniatures. I think I'm going to tear this. And so I love making miniatures, and I love the idea of a little miniature bookshelf. And I had a look on Pinterest and I found something that I want to make. But before I can make my bookshelf, I need to make a little book, because I need to get the right size so that my bookshelf can actually store some little books. I made some books like this a few years ago, and what I've started off with was an A4 piece of paper, so a piece of printer paper, and I folded it in. So now I've got 4/4 and, or 4/8 should I say, and let's do another one here. So this video I'm going to make a tiny little book, and maybe even more than one, and I'm going to use it to measure, and then I'm going to make my little bookshelf for my little book. So that was a printer page that I've torn up into equal size rectangles. Now these all need to be torn in half again, and I will show you in a minute what it's going to look like. I made these a few years ago. I made them into little book pendants, and if I can find a photo, I'll add a photo in now. And I thought they were so cute. Alright, so I've cut all my little, well, I've torn all my little papers again, and let's see, that is the perfect size. So now all these I'm going to fold in half. If I put them into 4s, they won't stick out too far, because the middle pages normally stick out a little bit. So if I make them into 4s, it'll make, I think, 4 signatures. Let's see. So that is just over 1.5 inches wide and 2.25 long. So I need a front and a back. Let's just double check here. Let's do 1 3/4, and let me just check if I did that right. So it's on that one. Oh, there. Okay. So I've got cover, and I'm going to make them the same because I'm planning to make more than one book, so I can rule all the way down. Just make sure I've sort of got them the right size. And let's make it up to there, so 2 and just under 2 3/8. Oh, I'm doing the wrong measurement. There we go. Where'd it go? 2 3/8. There we go. This one. So that's my front and back cover, and this is for the next book. And this board was on the back of a exam pad. So when you buy an exam pad, it has that card on the back, or I think they also call it chipboard. That's what this is. It's almost like a cereal box thickness, and I think that's going to be perfect. It's going to fit my signatures fine. And then let's see how big the spine needs to be. I don't think it needs to be very thick at all, but it does need a spine. It'll just make it look so good. Maybe 3/8 of an inch. So I think we'll do this. And I've already got that one measurement in there, so I won't need to. This measurement here is already the right height of the book. Okay, so there's my cover, my spine, and my back cover. And now I'm going to use a bit of fabric, and as I say, I think I'm going to do this book in that blue fabric. I think that'll be very pretty. Let's see which piece I can use. This might be big enough. Yeah, that'll be fine. So I'm just going to get my 3-in-1 and I'll glue it down. So I'm using this glue. You can do a little bit on the spine. I don't want to have the glue leaking through, so just a little bit on there. I'm just doing a bit on the edges and a bit of swirly stuff in the middle. And I'm leaving a little gap between the spine and the cover. And I'm making sure to line all those up on that too. It does look like that little spine of mine might be a little bit long. Let's just trim that off. Okay, so there is my book cover, and I'm going to, let's trim these corners a little bit first. So not all the way up to the edge, as close as you can, but leave a gap so you can turn it over. And I'm going to fold this top piece over first. Just hold it down for a second or two. Make sure it sticks. And then we'll do the other side. I'm not so worried about the glue leaking through on this side because it's going to be covered. And just hold it for a little bit so it will stick. So you see the glue didn't leak too badly through on the front, but on the back it is leaking through, but as I said, it'll be okay. And then here I'm going to do a bit there. And I'm going to do a bit along the top as well. Maybe a little bit in the corner. And let's try and turn that in a little bit and up. So I really want my corners to be nice and sharp. Do this side, so there, a little bit along the top and some in the corners. Everything's a bit sticky now, so tuck those corners in and pull it down and let it just catch. Cover my glue. Okay, so my little cover is done for my book, and here is my signatures. I still want to sew them, so I'm going to go and get my needle and thread, but there is my little book, and then I will measure that and I'll show you what I plan to do for my bookshelf. But I need to make more books. How cute is that? Okay, let me go get my needle and thread and I'll be back. I'm just going to be guessing with this book. I'm not doing any measurements, so I'm just guessing about a third in and a third in. And I've done a little knot, but I know it's not going to go right through the hole, so I'm just being careful not to go all the way through. And I'm going to sew through here a couple of times just to make sure that it's nice and secure. And I will knot this side. So there's my one signature, and I'll sew the rest. Okay, this is my last one, and I'm going to use it to sew through. I'm just going to pick up each thread on the one side of those, and I'm just going to sew through. Okay, so it looks like a big mess, but the good news about a big mess is that it has lots of space where it can glue onto the spine. So I'm not going to sew this onto the spine now. I'm going to just glue this whole thing onto the spine. Now I'm going to take my signatures that are messily sewn together, and I'm going to put some glue along the edges of all the signatures. So all the way along, especially on the gluey bit, all the way along the edges, and all those pages are going to stick. And before I used to use this 3-in-1, I used to use wood glue, which worked very well. And I'm just putting it in the middle of my book, just like that. So I've pressed it down a bit towards the spine, and I've centered it that way, and I've centered it that way. Hope you can see that. Now I know this isn't the correct glue to use. I once spoke to a book binder and he told me the right glue I was supposed to use for binding books, but I never bought it. And now I forgot what it's called. So there's my first little book, and I've used one sheet of printer paper and a little bit of card that probably you could get from a cereal box, and a bit of fabric and some glue and a needle and thread. I'm going to leave this to just take. I need the glue to stick, and I will show you a bit later what it looks like. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work out how big I want my little bookshelf to be. So I've measured my book, and it's, I think a 3-inch shelf would be a nice size shelf for that, and it is 2 a good, I think 2 inches wide would mean I could get it into the bookshelf. Just need to wedge this down a bit so it will stick. So what I'm thinking is I need to remember I need some space here and here and here and here to build my shelf. So I need, if I'm doing 2 shelves of 3 inches, I need 6 inches of shelf space. So I'm thinking I'm going to do 7 inches for the height of my shelf, and then I think 5 inches wide would make a nice size shelf. And I'll tell you why. Let's have a look there. Oh, my line's a bit skew. I'll tell you why I want a specific shape is because I want to make this into a book. So I want a book that will open and inside will be miniatures. So far I'm looking at a 3-inch shelf. And don't forget I need space there for a shelf. And what have we got left? There would be the next 3-inch shelf. And maybe I should make that a 2-inch shelf. And that could be for smaller books. Then I just have to make sure to make smaller books. So I think that's a nice size book. If I'm looking at like a normal size book, that's an A5 size book, that fits quite nicely. That's quite a, it looks cute. It would be great on a bookshelf. So that's my plan. I'm going to go now and I'm going to cut, I need a piece like this that's 2 inches wide at least for the sides of my book, up to there. So we need the sides, top, bottom, times 2. That's that one. This one will be back and front cover, so we need 2. And then I'll need one the same but 2 inches wide. And this will be the spine and the side. Okay, so I've got side, 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 back, front. And then I will need a shelf and a shelf. So let's times that by 4. And I can cut 2 of them smaller to make shelves. Alright, so I had a folder like this that didn't have one of these clips in it that I have cut all my templates out of, and I've cut all the ones I showed you, and I've been thinking about how I'm going to do this, and I've got this wallpaper liner. I bought it because it was quite cheap and I thought it would be a good paper to have. It's quite thick. So I think I'm going to cover everything with wallpaper liner. I'm going to cover it like a box, and then I think I might put another cover over the top. So I've got my sides like that, and I'm thinking I'm going to cover that all with wallpaper liner, and then I'm going to cover my shelves with wallpaper liner so they're all like white. So I've lined the back, I've lined the insides, I've done all the outside, and now I'm doing my last shelf, and I've put some little markers there. These are this paper with this double-sided tape on them, and I'm using them like hinges, and I'm just using them to tape my shelves into position. So my bottom shelf is already in, and now I'm just going to put this one in. So I'm going to put tape on the top and the bottom. I'm just bending it to make it easier, otherwise the tape sticks to everything. And I've bitten all my fingernails off, so it's a bit harder to take the double-sided sticky tape off. So I've made my little box. It is not done. It looks very rough, so you can see it's not done. I wonder if that is even straight. It looks a bit skew. 2.5. No, it is. I think maybe my shelf is a bit buckled. Anyway, you can see my little book. It doesn't go in there. That's too short. It does go in there, and it does go in the bottom. And I think the next time I do a video, I'm going to make another cover. So I'm going to make a little bit bigger than this, because the cover I cut would fit it exactly, but I want it to look like a book. So I want it to be a little bit bigger on each side, and another spine and another back. And so this will be the inside of the book. So I've made my little book, and I've made my bookshelf base, and after this I will be decorating my bookshelf base. Thanks for watching. Bye.